And once again, apparently when everybody was booted from Hollyoaks in the last year, some of them just took a sabbatical. As, with yesterday or 2 days ago's news being Tom or Ellis Hollins coming back as Tom Cunningham, now today we have some news that Warren Fox is returning, and this time it's a little bit different. So you may remember Warren Fox returned a couple months ago for a one-off flashback episode. And that was cool. That was a really nice little fun way to see what he was doing and kind of see the flashback episode. A flashback episode which I kind of enjoyed, but also not really. It was a cool way to kind of look back at the year that we missed, but also it was probably a bit ambitious with the lack of cast that they could actually have show up in the flashback. So there was only really so much you could have done. But fundamentally, they did an okay job with it. It was nice to see Warren back. And, clearly it was testing the waters. So Hollyoaks bad boy Warren Fox is returning again, and this time it's different. The character made his most recent comeback last month. Hollyoaks bad boy Warren Fox is set to return to the soap again, but this time in a different context. The character bowed out of the soap in 2024, but made a cameo appearance last month as part of a flashback episode that gave an insight into the show's missing year following a time jump. It is now being reported by a source in The Sun. The star, Jamie Lomas, will return to the soap again for a brief stint, but rather than a flashback, he'll appear in the present day. The site reports that he'll make his comeback later this month, and the circumstances around his comeback are under wraps for now. Warren fled the country last year following a showdown with Dave Chen Williams amid the Blue Gangster storyline. Jamie has played Warren on and off for nearly 2 decades, with his last full-time stint spanning 4 years. Last year, the actor welcomed a baby daughter called Bella Nevaeh, with his fiancée Jess Bell, the star opening up at the time about his 2-day labor. There we go. So yeah, Warren is going to be back, and he's going to be back on our screens at the end of the month. So I don't know if that's him filming for the end of the month, or that's him going to film at the end of the month, and then his scenes will probably take place in June, July, that sort of thing. Then again, I don't really know how far in advance Hollyoaks even gets to record these days, considering how fewer resources they have these days. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do it. Obviously, it'll be a part of Joel's storyline, and it'll be a part of Mercedes. Is Mercedes going to marry Freddie? She's moved on. Warren returns, wants to see the kids. Is she going to take one of the kids away? Is he going to play a part in Freddie's exit? You gotta hope and imagine he'll at least be relatively involved with Claire Devine, because I'm not entirely certain, but I feel like there was some crossover between Claire and Warren. Yeah, she took revenge on Warren, and this kind of had him, this had his initial death. But it'd be interesting as well, because she is the daughter of Fraser Black, so you'll also have Rex as a new little sibling. It'd be a really interesting thing to see what Warren does, and it's nice to see back. But once again, I continue to say this, and I've said this over the last couple of videos, so if you've been following, you'll see a theme. It's time to bring Cindy back. I know Steph Waring is probably still a little bit frazzled and a little bit upset as to how it was handled, but fundamentally, it's time to bring Cindy back. It's been long enough. You've reshuffled the books, you've reshuffled the cast enough. I don't think it's too much to suggest that you simply just bring her in. Even if it's not full-time, bring her back as a recurring cast member, but at least start to build back around the Cunninghams and actually provide a future for that family, because Mandy's probably never coming back. Ella's gone. So now it's time to rebuild. And honestly, in terms of the families that Hollyoaks does have, I still think they're in a fairly decent spot, because obviously you have the Dexter, a kind of Lomax, that sort of family with Steve, and the kind of rush off with Joel, Leela, their kids, Perry. And so you do have this family still, and you have the Osbournes, you have the Hutchinsons, but then and the McQueens obviously, but then you still kind of have the waning Roscoes and the Malicks, and you know you do need a new family in Hollyoaks fairly soon because the Chen Williams was an absolute disaster. The Donny's family was kind of good, but there's only 2 members of it. Like, it's time to bring back Cindy, and it's time to give more kids in the Cunninghams. I personally say when Tom comes back, you bring back Cindy, you bring back Holly, and, maybe if you still want to have a last-ditch effort on the Roscoes, you bring back Jason. They probably split up. But still, you bring back Jason and you bring back a kid with them. Like, it's time. It's time. We need a new family on Hollyoaks. And it would be the perfect way to, gain a bit more favor ahead of the 30th anniversary. And just generally, Hollyoaks did a lot of damage to its regular viewers with the time jump. And yeah, sure, it's not entirely its fault because it was a Channel 4 decision. But fundamentally, a good way to bring back a lot of goodwill is to keep them happy and to bring back Cindy, simply saying. I know this is a video about Warren Fox, but ultimately, I don't really have much to say about it. I didn't really care for Warren's flashback episode. I thought it was a pretty cheap and lousy way to try and explain why he had to leave and why, Freddy moved ahead with it. But, another showdown with Freddy, that seems fairly interesting. Obviously, it's harder to imagine because one thing I would like to see, I do want to see the showdown between him and Robbie because, Robbie kind of took on Blue's mantle. I want to see how he responds to Grace Black. I want to see how it continues. I would just, there's a lot of potential ends you could pick up. How does he react to Joel? How does he react to Joel and Leela? How does he react to their family? All this extra stuff and more. Just how exactly is it all shaping up? And what even is Warren doing at this point in time? Is he still trying to be is he still trying to be a gangster? Is he playing it straight? How is Warren dealing in the aftermath of this? Is he still doing the drugs? There's so many cool things to look at here. Oh, all right, sorry, just got interrupted. But yeah, there's so many potential links and new stories to go into. And that's the really exciting tidbit, and that's why it's good news that Warren's going to be back. Admittedly, it is for a brief stint, so time will tell how much it does, but if he proves that he still wants to stay and doesn't want to run out again very quickly, I think it's a good thing for the show. It's a good coup for the show, and it, once again, as Channel 4 keeps gutting Hollyoaks, you do need to keep trying to play, you do need to keep doing damage control and keep reminding the Hollyoaks fans that you do actually care about and love the show, and bringing back these characters are a really good way to keep the peace and keep people happy. So yeah, and what you think about Warren Fox's return, comment section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.